And okay, so there's two new Cy Young Award winners. Or are they new? Because they the same ones from last year.
Yeah.
Am I tripping? I feel like we are repeating ourselves. The same the same managers of the year, same Cy Young Award winner. I don't know. Well, you know what? Let's talk about something else. And tonight, we will be finally learning who gets the AL MVP, which I still think is funny because ain't nobody asking who's the NL MVP. It's like we've already we pretty much know what that is. And I have a question for you with regard to that. So let's go ahead and get into it. Yes, Sis is on the Black Week cover and baseball with Flavor Light chocolate that go.
Yeah.
It's me and G. Yep, JR. We right heat and bringing heat for the fellas. Hey, all right. Look, all right. I'm gonna just go ahead and get right into it. Look, straight up. So it's good to have you here again, man. Thank you for joining us. We have the homie Gambler representing the MLB Bros. I'm your boy, the real Vince Taylor. Just consider me just a black baseball nerd here to talk more with you. And one of the things that we want to chat on real quick, and I'm gonna keep it real. This is a quick mention. The Cy Young Awards went down. We were announced last night, and kind of I feel like it was basically unanimous for both leagues. Tarek Skubal, Paul Skenes. The thing that I find funny is that Paul Skenes is winning because of his talent, but his talent is not winning for his team. It's like his team will not back him up. He still, even though he comes into the end of the year with a sub-2 ERA, which is phenomenal, it's crazy that type of talent is being squandered because the Pittsburgh Pirates, I mean, they just are not giving this dude, like, he's only won half of his games with an ERA that low. So you're talking about a dude who averages less than 2 runs a game, but they can't get 2 runs more than that to keep this dude in the win column. So I thought that was fast.
Paul Skenes need to cry me a river and go speak to Bob Gibson, who went 22-9 with a 1.12 ERA. Lost, I think, 3 or 4 games, 1-0. Okay. Another 3 games, 2-1. Right? So these things happen in baseball. If you're on a bad team and you're a great pitcher, you're gonna lose games that you should win. That's just how it is. The Pirates are inept offensively, right? They have no superstars to think of in their lineup. They're known for trying to develop talent, but none of that talent develops into superstar talent. And then once it does, you can bet your bottom dollar that is going to be shipped out to one of these large market teams that everybody complains about, who's going to actually pay these players what it's worth. So I feel bad for Skenes, but what you don't feel bad for Skenes about is that he's going to get a $400 million contract one day from one of these teams, Dodgers, Blue Jays, Yankees, even maybe your Cardinals when they're ready to start spending again.
Oh, nah,
right?
Ain't no Cardinals ain't spending that kind of money. I see him going to New York. I heard he's
close.
Because Skenes ain't getting. The Cardinals will give somebody at most, especially in the pitching realm, 3-4 years, maybe 5 if you lucky.
But you can't do that forever because that's not how the game works, right? Like, that's not how the game works. Everybody has TV deals. Everybody has money to spend. So if you already have convinced yourself that your billionaire owner was only going to get 3 years contract, why the hell do you root for the team? Team's trash then, because you can't compete nowadays unless you do have to make a big splash now and then. It don't have to be all the time. Teams don't do that. That's why we keep naming 2 teams, the Yankees and the Dodgers. But other teams do pay big money for players when it's time or when they have to. The Padres went through a stretch where they did it. The Mets are currently in a stretch where they're doing it. It's I don't know. Toronto read up with Vlad for big money. Kansas City gave Bobby Witt Jr. big money. There's always a guy or two.
You're naming a bunch of position players. My thing is pitchers. I don't see them outside of like Yamamoto, Garrett.
They're more valued though. Pitchers are way more valued and get paid way higher per what they do than position players.
But when have you seen a pitcher get a 15-year deal?
Oh, well, they're not going to get that. When have you seen a player complete a 15-year deal? Nobody cares. I don't care.
Well, they don't even get offered
I don't care though. If I sign a player to 15 years, he's not going to be there past 8, 9, and never are.
So what
am I
what would
signing, right? What do
Paul
we?
Skenes'
There's
value
no
has
such
just gone up.
thing. There's no such thing as a
I
15-year
agree.
deal. No such thing.
Well, for a pitcher, I don't think so. We already see that
For a
I mean,
player, is no such thing.
Well, I mean, the deal is 15 years. Do they work it all the way out? Absolutely
They
not.
never,
But that's what
ever,
they have
ever
on paper.
will. It doesn't work like that, because by the time you get the deal, you're not giving a 22-year-old a 15-year deal. You're giving a 25, 26, 27 peak player a 15-year deal. They're not going to play with you till they're 40.
Whoa.
So the biggest deals you can get 7 years most, especially nowadays, out of a player, and then you're going to dump his salary, eat it, or trade him, or he's gonna clause in and go somewhere else.
So
Ain't no 15-year deals.
Let me back it up a little bit to the Paul Skenes and to Tarek Skubal, who also Tarek Skubal was the other winner for the AL, which was, I mean, that was not really questioning that, honestly. I mean, so discarding the offers that they probably both should be considering at this point, because from what I understand, Tarek Skubal only has 1 year under control, and then he will have the option to opt out for the final year, and he'll be able to hit the market. Right now, it also sounds like with his his representation being of Boris Corp with Scott Boras in them, that he's looking for top dollar. Tarek Skubal sounds like he's fishing for a $400 million contract, which sounds to me like somewhere between 8 to 10 years of service. Tarek Skubal is in his late 20s, all right, if I'm not mistaken. I might want to do a quick fact check on that, but if I'm not mistaken, I was just over 25.
Skubal, yeah. About 26,
so,
27.
Right. Yeah, okay, good. So I've 28, actually, 28. And so I foresee that he'll be able to get this contract, but I don't know. There's only a couple teams that can afford that type of bankroll for a pitcher to take out that much of the salary that they have allocated to their budget and be able to
that's on them. Right, you got to either go over. There's no salary cap in baseball, so there's no excuse.
Right.
You're either gonna go over budget or you're not to get the player, or you're not. I'm not gonna feel sorry for you. We're not gonna cry about that. If you want to outbid somebody, go do it. The Padres outbid the Yankees for Aaron Judge. He just chose to go back to the Yankees. They gave him, they offered him more money. Yankees was like 330, right, something like that. They were up near closer to 4 than the Yankees were. He just chose to go to the Yankees because it's not always about the money. It depends on a lot of times. It depends on the franchise as well, right? Juan Soto went for the money, right? Juan Soto really, I don't think, grasped the difference between playing for the Yankees and the Mets, and that's not his fault because he's not from here, right? He don't get it. So that's cool. So he made the move. He went to the Mets and did what he had to do. Now, as far as pitchers go, contracts are changing. Things are changing, so I don't think the years matter at all anymore. That's irrelevant. Because the years of the contract don't matter because nobody's staying for full contracts. You don't have players that's going to stay for 8, 9, 10, 11 years on a contract. For one, they're not going to be that good for that long.
I think, well, I happen to be, a little bit of a tangent here, but I happen to be of the belief that the Juan Soto deal might backfire tremendously, even though right now they got their money's worth this year, even though he really didn't produce until the second half of the year. Once they start getting into them DH years, if they don't want him hogging up that 50 AAV, even though I know inflation, it's going to be hard to sell the other 7, 8 years that he has quality years worth of his contract